recording.
All right. Let's call the meeting to order. It's 4:30. All right. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting and the one for July 12th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Dan, on the delay tournament plaque.
Yep.
My understanding is that the delay family sent some money in.
We dropped off a check, I think, of $250.
Okay.
Towards whatever.
Just go towards it.
Yeah.
Is that something that we're gonna get done pretty soon, or?
No, I don't, it's not in any push. It's not, I'm just gonna reach out to, the other person, and probably shop and compare. If we go to Ian, it'll look just like the one that's out there.
Yep.
So, I mean, the problem with that is that real quick kind of wall space. If we decide to create more plaques for different tournaments, which we have to obviously suppose the restaurant or
We
something.
just put them up in the restaurant, maybe?
Without being the option, because there's not a lot of wall space in the shop.
Right.
So, it'd be more visible in there anyways.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of little ones from, probably, are those still up in there?
Yeah, thrown by the door.
Yeah, out of the way out, which are kind of outdated.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's
Old,
like
yeah.
2013,
Yeah,
I think.
we did it once and then after that. So we can use some restaurant space.
So that's something you think you're gonna get completed before the beginning of next season?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I think so, once the season starts and get his check all through there. I think he run it out to Municipal Inc., so that's something that we can deposit it
Did you
there.
give it to Mike?
I still have it right now,
Okay.
yeah, because he brought it
I'll mention
not
that.
that long ago.
I see.
So. And then at that point, we can decide what we want to do, if we want to do anything for everything else, or.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, once we find out
Yeah,
what's
or-
gonna cost.
Right, or do we, fundraise for them all, or do we, take it out of budget or whatever, so.
Look at it. Okay, any new business? All right, there's no correspondence. Dave, Dan?
Not much. The Disabled American Veterans Tournament from last Friday, we decided to postpone 2 weeks till October 8th. It was a good move because it would have been nasty out. I believe they're still planning on doing a meal out in the back of the parking lot. I'll stay in touch with her because it wasn't huge to be 2 weeks. It wasn't going to be huge. There were about 84 people last Friday, so give it another couple of weeks. I don't know as far as siding what they're going to carry forward.
Okay.
It'd be nice if they get more people, but it's kind of later in the season.
A little late in the season.
Yeah, I think it was something that didn't really get rolling until a couple of months ago as well. It wasn't something that was started early. So, other than that, we had a couple more weeks of events. A few things this weekend, and then we had the 3-day over Columbus Day weekend. A couple small things after that, and that's about it.
Yeah, we still got the Tuesday, right?
Tuesday night's right after, the Saturday after, so it's gonna be the 17th.
17th.
Yeah. And I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna do a cross-country scramble or not. Probably would stay away from, if I do a tournament, probably would stay away from the potluck that we've done in the future.
Yes.
Just because of
Do something else.
the crowds and numbers
Yep.
and stuff like that, so. Other than that, that's about it.
And do you have Bell's update?
I saw it, I think I got it off my phone. Things that are on Bill's update, he's gotten prices and bids for the heating system in the golf shop is dead. The furnace is old, it's got some holes in it, so I think he's got prices for a new furnace. He did a separate price for an oil tank, and then they came back in with the alternative of a heat pump, which would be an electric heat pump, which would replace the air conditioner that's in the wall now, function 12 months a year. I expressed my little concern to one of the companies about the fact that the building's not overly insulated. It's got a high roof in there, but they didn't seem too concerned about it. So I don't know where he is on that as far as that, but I know he's planning on getting that rolling prior to the winter
Yeah.
coming around. Not that it gets real cold in there, but, we still gonna function there for a couple more months. He's planning on aerating right now the week after the formal, with his limited staff and the lack of daylight. I believe his plan is to do the front in 2 days and then the back in the next 2 days, or vice versa, closing that side down for those 2 days and leaving the other side open.
That's what he told me.
Yeah, and just
Five
kind
holes,
of,
five holes one day, 4 holes the next.
Yeah,
and then the other.
and flip it around. Obviously, it's weather pending. If he gets a nice stretch of weather, then he can crack it out and do that. But I believe that's all that was on that email from Billy.
And the other thing he told me, he's still receiving some demos for equipment
Yeah.
replacements. Having difficulty getting demos because they're selling them, because the new stuff's not being.
He's had a few in the last few days though.
Has he?
Yeah, he had a John Deere fairway mower in there the other, late last week, and then he had a Steiner system in there this morning that I was talking to him about that.
So I know.
So he is getting something.
Yeah, once he,
I think he's kind of zeroing in on like 2 companies now based on what he's done so far. So
once he figures
it's
out.
coming along.
And after that, he'll give us a list of what he's intending to buy and what it's gonna cost. All right. Any commission comments, Dave?
No, I can't think of any that I have. This time.
Michael?
Nothing this evening.
I just have a question about, women that play on Tuesdays. In the past, we've always had a lot of time, assigned to ladies and play. Now we have to get tea time.
Yeah, that's something
Is
a
it
couple
next year?
different groups have come to me about,
Yeah,
like
is it
the regulars, where, it's probably been a couple of years since we've actually done a block. But we've got Wednesdays, we've got the doctors that always play. Ladies on Tuesday, there's a smaller group on Wednesday that usually play.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to set parameters, as far as, I don't want to start having people with
Right.
4 golfers call me up 3 weeks in advance. It's something that I have done on the side. If I've got a group of 3 or 4 on the weekends that want something way off the cuff as far as time goes, I'll put them in there just because of the revenue that could come in. I have no problem, if the decision's made, let's try to, give the ladies 9 or whatever every week, give the doctors 10:30 or whatever every week, and then just go from there. That's not a problem on my end.
Okay.
But you just want to, hopefully it doesn't lead to a slippery slope of, it would probably have to be, the group size would probably have to be defined.
Right,
Yeah,
but,
not
the
just,
ladies used to play, forever.
the-
They
yeah,
had
right,
a
right,
lot of time.
right, because it was always,
8:30 to
even
9:30.
before tea times, it was
Right,
9 o'clock or whatever it
exactly,
was.
right, so,
But once we've gone to tea times, I've kind of forced everybody to,
because really,
Put a
I know someone does get the number of ladies that are gonna be playing, prior to the tea
Yep.
times coming out, and we know how many tea times we'll need, so.
and
if we
even
just
if
let
you
them
lose,
know.
even if you need to give times back, that's
Right,
easy, because they're giving back in plenty amount of time.
okay.
I just hope it wouldn't lead to a slippery slope. I mean, I can't think of many more groups, if you talk about the PACC that plays in their league Thursday mornings, that's another group.
Mhm.
Again, I mean, that'd be a nice benefit to them. I know Vern's got a couple groups that plays, 2 or 3 groups that play Thursday mornings.
Right.
And that's not blocking massive amounts of time.
Maybe a couple for us.
It's weekdays, the ladies might be 5 or 6 at most.
Mhm.
Vern's 2 or 3, PACC maybe 4 or 5.
4.
Yeah, right now.
You're talking PAC,
Yeah, it's an 18-hole league.
yeah, they have 16 guys that caps it at that,
It's-
so
it's
that's
four.
4,
We're talking
that's 4
about those
times.
blocks.
Right, right. Yeah.
It should just, it's kind of like not blocking the high school matches now. I do that more than 7 days in advance, so when you guys go online, and I only do the matches. When I block the match, you guys get online, those times are just gone.
Yep.
They're not there. I make the coaches block their own tee time for any sort of practice on the course.
Okay,
So those are, they're live, but the matches I make sure, because if we don't get those blocked, then all of a sudden, every other one is booked, but, you know, we're in a little bit of trouble as far as when the school shows up, so. But that's worked out pretty well. Tuesday night league is done, so it should, you know, work pretty smoothly the rest of the year. I mean, it's, for having 4 teams up there, you know, the tee times make it
I'm just gonna ask how they're going for it.
a lot, and the tee times make it
Much easier.
much easier, yes. And the coach has been really good, you know, this team usually plays this side, well, sometimes, like, you know, I try to limit it to 2 matches a day, so there's not, you know, as there's gonna be rainouts and, you know, get closer to the district cutoff line, you might have a time where you're gonna have to throw a 3rd match in, that's gonna be
Yeah.
2nd or 3rd week of October. You know, at that point,
Yeah.
they're there, and there's not a lot else there.
Right.
You know, so, but I do think it's worked out pretty good. I haven't heard too much squawking at all. A couple of the Tuesday night league guys got behind one, you know, behind both teams and behind a match.
Yeah.
But at least they, you know, again, they still knew their time. It wasn't like they were on the tee and all of a sudden
Right.
the group showed up and we had to plow the deli line for half an hour, which is what we've had to do in the past.
Right. So I remember that.
So next year we'll just work with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's something you're talking about or discuss or vote on, but I have no problem, you know, doing recurring, you know.
I would think as long as it's daytimes, weekdays, we're not doing afternoons, other than for the high school teams.
Yeah.
We're not doing afternoons on weekdays.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, these are small.
That's what I'm worried about,
That's
just
You know,
small.
they're not large.
Set the rules of it, you know, before this time.
Small groups that play every week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, you know, even
In the morning.
You know, mostly members, I know the ladies have a few non-members, and PACC have a couple of non-members, yeah, just kind of greens feet. Yeah, like I said, I have no problem with that.
Financials. So, the revenues is through 9/12. And I would assume the expenses are roughly through the
Yes,
last Friday.
well, I would expect that they are,
Okay.
yes.
But this revenue was through the 19th, right,
Right.
on this sheet?
Well, yeah, right. This is through 19. But if you look at the total revenues, 300,284. If you look above 300,324, so that's what, you know, that was booked last year's revenue.
Right,
Right.
But it is on Sue's sheet.
Yep.
so basically last week was about 32,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 32.5.
So the revenue is over 300,000. Almost 2.5 months. And then the expenses are at 198, almost $699,000 for expenses. The only thing that's probably out of the ordinary that are in these expenses is we just purchased windows for the restaurant for about $7,000 that are going to be installed probably in the next few weeks or something like that, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
So they're in these expenses somewhat? That's-
Yeah, they're probably in the repairs and maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember signing off on it.
Okay.
But everything else is pretty much ordinary expenses. So right now we get a $100,000 profit, but that will vanish as we move forward. So are there any questions on the financials?
You did set the financials?
Second?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Alright. Let's do next meeting. October 18th. that'll be at 4:30 unless something changes. I'll let you know. Anything else that come before this committee?
Still a lot of activity on the new memberships, so.
Yeah, it's kind of slowing. Yeah, it's getting to the point now where people are putting stuff away and not
Right.
but, yeah, okay, it's not even another 6 or 7 for last week. So, new people, yeah, a couple returnees paying early,
Mhm.
so, yeah, I've had some current members asking, well, if there's any benefit to joining now, so, well, the rates haven't been set for next year, so usually, if there's an increase, you get the option of fall payment and stuff like that, so, but some people are still paying anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna probably start working on the budget, probably in the next few weeks. So. That's, all right, have a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?